Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got.
What's the toughest stretch of the schedule in your mind?
Man.
And let's keep it to like 3 games because we could say
Yeah, it's
there's
one of
one
those
there that's like 6.
yeah, it's one of those 2-3 game stretches I talked about. I think I'm gonna do the that week 11, 12, and 13 because not only are the 49ers flying back from Tampa Bay for that week 11 game against Seattle, Seattle is coming off their bye week that week. So you're getting a well rested Seattle team, and then you have to go to Green Bay, and then you come home. Probably, I don't think they're going to stay out east or in the Midwest, but then you come home
It doesn't sound like they're going to stay out east.
And then you have to go back to across the country to Buffalo, who is coming off their bye week and playing them on Sunday Night Football. That's a brutal stretch of games against a division opponent coming off a bye week, and then two teams that could win their divisions. So, yeah, that's the 3-game stretch for me. All due respect to Kansas City and Dallas, and a short week game in Seattle, which is another one I talked about earlier. That 11, 12, 13 run is, oof, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, really, the stretch from like October 10th to December 1st is tough. Just like that's like the meat of the schedule for sure.
Yeah.
But just for the sake of the conversation, and this kind of sticks with to what I said were two of my favorite games. Short week against the Rams, a long trip to play the Dolphins, and then a game against Detroit at home. It might not be the toughest stretch overall, but I think that's going to be kind of an underrated tough stretch of the season. Because I think we can look at, say KC, Dallas, and then, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Green Bay, Buffalo. Like that's obviously a tough stretch, and that's the meat of the schedule. But I think I think that 3-game stretch, a short week against the Rams, against, like the Rams games are always going to be tough. And I think this year in particular, the Rams games might be tougher than they've been really since the Rams won the Super Bowl. And then at Miami, and maybe Miami falls off. I don't know, but I have a lot of respect for the roster that they have and the coaching that they have. And then Detroit, for reasons that we've talked about, that 3-game stretch is going to be really tough and really important. In part, like it's going to be tough because it's coming after all that stuff, and it's harder to like be healthy, later in the season after attrition and all of that, and the 2 trips that you mentioned. And it also kind of feels like that Chicago game against Caleb Williams has like trap game written all over it. Like you have 2 huge games at Green Bay, at Buffalo potentially, and then you're like, okay, we got a short week against the Rams, and then at Miami, Detroit, and Chicago's there. It's like, no, you can't overlook this team.
Yeah.
So
it depends on how good I think Chicago is.
Sure. But I'm just saying, like, there's, that game feels like if you're going to circle a trap game on the schedule, I think that would be one of the options for sure.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
No, man, I
couldn't
think,
agree more.
I think the schedule overall is strong. I really like a lot of the matchups. I think the Niners it just feels like a lot of bangers. It doesn't, they don't have the Falcons. They don't have Carolina. And some of that is like the NFC North is good. They have a first place schedule. So it just feels like a very, very good schedule. And we see the AFC East as much as most of the rest of the conference, but it just feels kind of fun when you get like the Jets and the Patriots and the Bills and the Dolphins. I like that stuff.
Yeah, man. It's like you said, the NFC North has 3 teams that could, and depending on how you feel about the Vikings quarterback situation, 4. But that division is up for grabs because all of those teams could be pretty good. And then the AFC,
you can make
East,
a case
thing.
you can make a case that the NFC North is the most competitive division in football.
Yeah, I think going into the year, that's definitely the case. And like you said, every year there's a team here and there that one team has a bad injury that derails their season. Another team just can't put it together and they can't get stops. And they're worse than if Miami went into that game, and maybe it's the Niners this year. We saw it last time they lost the Super Bowl. They had a tough year, but would it shock you if they went into that game against Miami and Miami has like 6 wins? I wouldn't be shocked by that at all. Where they just can't
No, teams
quite.
fall off all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So and teams that we don't think are good are unexpectedly. Maybe Mike McDonald goes into Seattle and turns them around and turns them into a 13-win juggernaut. I don't know, but weird stuff happens every year like that in the NFL. But I'm with you, man. There's you said pick your 2 favorite games, and it's like, man, you can make a case. I think you find something interesting in every single one of these games.
And we kind of just like dismiss the historical rivalry between the Niners and Cowboys, and like don't really think about the Chiefs Niners in that sense, because we've just seen the Chiefs go 4-0 against the Niners.
Yeah,
including in 2 Super Bowls recently.
Yeah, Niners Chiefs is there. Niners Cowboys is there. I think the Seattle rivalry has been rekindled. The Rams thing is there always. It's just a lot of good games, a lot of fun.